Most MSPs try to go right from meeting somebody to closing the actual deal, and that couldn't be further from the right thing to do. Truthfully, when you go through and you're selling your MSP services, there's actually a journey that they have to go through. Just like when you're hiring somebody to do work in your home, hiring somebody to do work in your car, you're shopping online, or even buying services for your own business. There's actually a journey that you're going to end up going through, and you're not just jumping right into the sale. And if you fix this by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to do, how to do it, how to implement it for your business, but also you're going to start closing more deals. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing training, or even business operations. Before I get into today's video, I do want to mention, just head over to growth-generators.com/resources and grab some of the free resources. Check out growth-generators.com/Discord. Come hang out with us in the Discord with over 1,100 people and growing. And truthfully, growth-generators.com is a great place to just find out more about what we do, how we help your MSP grow. So let's talk about the actual process. Now, I'm going to draw some stuff up here on my whiteboard, but there's a process that we need to go through, and believe it or not, it's actually like a funnel. So for the lack of my art here, we're going to go with a pretty basic funnel, right? We have a nice little funnel down here, and we get down to the bottom, right? We have the opening down here. We ultimately want to get people to go all the way through this funnel. Now, this funnel works in kind of mysterious ways, because you're probably thinking, how does this funnel have anything to do with my MSP? Well, that's the interesting part about all of this. You see, your clients are going to come in from a variety of different areas, right? And I'm just going to use the area over here to put that in, right? We've talked a lot about ads, right? Blogs, right? That's kind of SEO as well, right? Google My Business is another super popular one. But truthfully, they could come in from YouTube, right? TikTok, maybe a podcast, right? Any of these areas, and truthfully, that list can go on and on and on. But these people, right, when they're listening, they're absorbing that content, they're finding it in one way or another, they're actually going to be entered into our funnel. And that's when they're going to get into the first phase. And you do this naturally as you're going through and you're shopping around. You're going to go through the awareness phase. And I'm just going to write it in here, right? We're going to have the awareness phase. And that awareness phase is where these people are all coming in from. They're aware of either a problem, they're aware of your business, and this is just some of it, right? And I could also include more cold emails, LinkedIn messages, networking groups, right? I'm not trying to make the longest list here, but they are hearing, they're understanding, and just they're aware of your business. That's it. It's kind of like a little maybe noise on your car. You're like, you know what, I'm aware of it. It doesn't seem like it's a problem yet, but it's a noise, right? Maybe a sink is dripping, and you're like, you know what? It's not really a problem, but you're aware. And that's kind of the same thing in a very strange way. They now know, hopefully in one way or another, that you exist. And this is truly the hardest part of the entire battle. But the interesting part is we have to do all of these things to get them to actually be aware. If we don't do that, and we don't lay it out where they could become aware at the end of this entire process, we kind of lose them throughout the rest of the process, because most MSPs typically try to ram their information, ram that sale down that customer's throat, and that never is going to work. So once they get through this awareness area here, and I'm going to just draw another line here, we have something that's going to start building in their brain, and that's going to be interest. Now, the interest area of all of this is they are aware of your business. And now we need to do some things that are going to make them interested in it. Now, we could make ads, blog posts, Google My Business, YouTube, TikTok, podcast, the list goes on, right? But we have to bring them into somewhere. And in many cases, this interest, they are curious. Now you've kind of piqued, they're like, well, what could it be? And I'm going to use that car example as well. You're driving your car, you hear like a little noise you're unfamiliar with, right? They're aware it's there, but maybe it just happened one time. Well, now they were aware of it, but they might not be interested yet. But now, fast forward, they keep seeing your ads, your blogs, your Google My Business, YouTube, TikTok, podcasts, right? Cold emails. And now they're building a little bit of interest, right? They're kind of thinking a little bit about it, and they're not exactly sure, hey, how does this actually work for me, right? They're probably going to end up going to your website, right? Hopefully they're going to be going to your website and they're going to look for things like case studies. They're going to look for things like testimonials, right? And I'm going to write test here for the abbreviation. But we want to ultimately build what is authority. And I'm just going to write AUTH for that. All of this, the web, the case studies, the testimonials, is all to build authority when it comes to that interest, because now they're aware that something's going on. Now they're interested in possibly getting an actual solution for it. And this is just like your MSP. They're aware that, hey, you know what, security, they might need to be HIPAA compliant, right? Now they're doing some homework. How do they become HIPAA compliant? Does HIPAA compliance change state to state? These are things that your dream customer probably doesn't have the answer to, right? Or how to fix that pain in the butt printer. There's all of these things that they're thinking about, they're interested in, and they're doing their homework. They've already listened to all of this. They've gone to your website and they're looking for more information. Another great thing to actually add here is if you can make them free resources, right? That's because we're going to go 3 resources there. I didn't want to cut it off there, but you have to create some kind of free resource. Now, the amount of free resources that you make is going to vary tremendously. And you're probably thinking, Harrison, this is so much work. I've already done the ads, the blogs, Google My Business, the YouTube, the TikTok, the podcasts, right? You have to finish them, because at the bottom of this whole thing, right, there's something magical that happens. And we end up getting, right, what we want. We want the sale, right? This is truly where the sale happens. If we aren't, and I apologize, my green is absolutely dying, but if we aren't working towards getting them to a sale, we're doing nothing productive to bring in new leads for our MSP business. So we've done the part where they're aware of the problem. We've now helped get their interest and kind of entice them and show them, hey, we have a website full of case studies, testimonials that helps build our authority, and we're going to give you some free resources as well. So what's the next step? Well, now they need to have a desire to change. Because if they don't have a desire to change through all of this, they need to have some kind of desire, right? They have to want to change it, right? Going back to that noise on your car, and I might be oversimplifying this, but this is human nature. This is how your dream customers think. They want to do research. Remember, they're paying you thousands and thousands of dollars every single month to help them with their system, to help them be compliant. Why wouldn't you want to do the right thing? And before I continue, I would like to ask you to just hit that like button, subscribe button, and that notification bell. But they have a desire for certain things, right? They've gone through, they're aware of it, right? They're now interested in it, but we also have to make sure that they have a desire for actual change. Because if we skip this spot right here, and I'm going to go back to, or go over to red here, we lose everything. We need to make sure that we have a super important area right here. They need to have the desire to change. If they are super aware of your business and they're interested, but they have no desire for change, they have no need for change, you're never going to get them to where you want them to go, which is ultimately the sale. We have to make sure that we're bringing them down through the desire and through the sale. And there is one step in here, but we have to make sure that they have that desire. And ultimately, by the time they get here, guess what? You are a contender for their next MSP. And that's the coolest part about all of this. Because if we don't have this area where they're aware of you, they're interested in what you do and how you help people, and then the desire for change, they're never going to get to that sale and become a new customer. None of this matters, right? And you have to go step by step by step, but we're never going to get through that actual sale, that lead that we really want. Once again, if we don't spend enough time understanding our dream customer, right? Knowing who that person is and knowing that they have enough of a desire to change something about their business. That's the magic here. So where does this desire actually lead to, right? Because we want to drive them to a sale. We want to make sure that they go through an action, right? And I'm going to just write action out here, right? We need them to take some kind of an action to ultimately get through this sale. And that action, hopefully, is going to be, hey, let me book a meeting with you. Let me get more information. Let's schedule a time. Come by my office, right? This isn't the actual sales process, but this is what a lead has to go through in order for you to have an actual sale. It's kind of strange, but let me break it down in the funnel, right? We have a funnel right here. I'm just going to write an FU. Right, we have a funnel, but what are the aspects of this funnel? We have tofu, top of funnel. We have mofu, and then we have bofu. We have top of funnel, middle of funnel, and then bottom of funnel. And these are the aspects that we have to bring somebody through. And you might have heard funnels, and sometimes funnels get a really bad rap when it comes to what they actually mean and how it actually works. But the customer is going to go through this journey. It's very rare, and most MSPs are like, well, I don't get any business from my website. It doesn't move the needle. I'm not getting leads from it. It's because they're not following the process of bringing a client through it, right? Even when you go out and buy something on Amazon, you have to be aware of that you need something or that thing actually exists. From there, I'm going to move to the other side here, you have to have some kind of an interest in it. There has to be. If there's no interest in it, you're never going to move forward to the actual sale. That could be something as simple as a screen protector, maybe it's lawn equipment, maybe it's something for your office or cable management, right? But you have to be aware that there's an actual problem. Then you have to find an interest in how that problem could be changed, and then you have to want to actually change the problem, right? That desire to say, you know what? I think I'm going to end up going forward with it. Now, who are we going to go forward with? And then you have to take that action to lead that person to a sale. This process is quite literally the process every successful MSP that gets an unlimited number of leads into their business follows to a T. Consistently, over and over and over and over again. Because without this entire process, nothing else, believe it or not, actually matters, unfortunately. We need to bring our ideal customer, I'm going to draw them out in purple here, but we need to bring our ideal customer all the way through this funnel. They're going to go through, I'll just draw them in here, right? They're going to go through and say, hey, you know what? I'm aware of the problem that I'm currently having. Hopefully, I have some kind of an interest in solving that problem. Then I want to actually change that problem. And then last but not least, I am ready to take action to fix my problem. And when they get to the desire and the action phase, it is the easiest, let me repeat that, it is the easiest sale you are ever going to get. Because when they've gotten the desire to make a change, it's just a matter of who they're going to go with, not what are they actually going to do. That is the key to this entire process. So I'll move out of the way here. I'll let you zoom in here and you can grab a screenshot of it if you'd like. But you have to master this principle of marketing your MSP business. Because yes, there is a lot of work that goes into marketing your MSP business. But if you want to get them to the action stage, your sales become infinitely easier. And that's truly what I want for your business. I want you to create an MSP lead generating machine. And between the last couple videos I've been drawing out, this is quite literally the process you need to follow to be wildly successful with your marketing, your MSP. I hope you guys have found some value in this video. If you did, once again, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. I love the heck out of every single one of you guys. I appreciate you guys bearing with me as I don't have my desk available, but I enjoy these whiteboard videos. And if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. If you say, Harrison, your head's extra shiny, I'll still appreciate that too. And for the real ones that comment first, you have a special place in my heart. I love you guys as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.